head chef from the Point restaurant in Albert Park. Justine is joining me today, and we're going to be making a classic from your heritage, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. It's a borscht, to be honest. So it's beetroot soup. Okay, my mum's recipe. And it's just an old traditional Ukrainian dish. And like there are Russian variations to it, and there are, you know, that very Eastern European block. They'll have the little variations. So like we put pork into ours, or the Russians might just put some dill and some cream into theirs as well. So there's a little bit of a difference. So first of all, I'll place these beetroots in here.
Right.
And then while I'm doing that, if you want to maybe just dice this up into like nice big squares like this.
Big squares, sure.
And with this, all we're doing is really just putting everything into the pot to start with to boil.
This is like it's a really hearty soup, isn't it? Because, I mean, in the east of Europe, it's very cold.
Yeah, it is. Look, in Ukraine, like the temperature gets quite low, you know, like minus 30 degrees in winter. So things need to be quite hearty and quite, you know, like heavy and giving you that nutrients and the substance during the colder months. So this is what this is about. It's all very root vegetable based. Yep. So we've got that, and then we're going to cut up some of these carrots just roughly. And it can be as rough as you like with this. I mean, this doesn't really matter too much.
It cooks down, doesn't it? So
exactly right, yeah. So we'll roughly dice up all these.
And so, you know, growing up in Australia, would you have eaten a lot of this in winter in Australia?
Yeah.
Would your mum make this for you, your grandma maybe?
Yeah, it's one of these things that we always had in our family, this soup, and something I love.
I must say, it's a very interesting soup. I mean, it's robust, but at the same time, you know, it's not the classic pumpkin soup. It's a little bit different. It's something that everyone should try once in their life, shouldn't they?
Definitely, and it's very, very simple, as you can see. We've been quite rough, quite, you know...
So I'll pass you some potatoes.
Yeah.
We've got some nice cabbage here.
And that's a nice little Polish sausage, so a pork-based sausage.
Right.
Yeah, so it's a little bit spicy, which is nice.
Yeah.
So if you want to cut that maybe into 3 pieces...
I always thought borscht didn't have any actual meat in it. I always just thought it was just vegetable.
Well, this is, so in Ukraine, this is our...
This size?
Maybe a little bit bigger, yeah.
Bigger? Yep.
That's fine. In Ukraine, we put the pork in there. Well, I was saying before, like the Russians, they sort of just use a bit more dill and cream or something like that, really. So, and this has got this lovely little pork.
What kind of pork have you got there?
Pork ribs, probably the better one, just so you've got a bit more flavour around from the bone as well. So.
I guess you're cooking it for a long time, so you don't want, you know, the lean cuts. You want something that's got a little bit of fat on it.
Right. So past the belly, and you've got the bit of the rib as well, which is great. And we'll just dice up that onion as well.
So we've got 2 onions here.
Yeah, and while you're doing that, I'm just going to put some water into here. Like I said, it is very simple, very rustic. And what we're doing now is just getting our nice flavour base for our soup.
So in goes the onions. Yep. And do the herbs go in now, or they go right at the end?
No, they go in now as well. Yep.
OK, so we've got some parsley here and some dill. So I guess after the main ingredient of beetroot, this is the prominent flavour that you'll taste in this.
Yeah, and dill's used so much in Ukrainian cuisine. I mean, what they'll do is they let the dill basically dry out while it's still growing, do you mean? So rather than feeding it water all the time, they actually just let it dry out.
Why? Because it has just more of an intense flavour?
Yeah, exactly right. But rather than taking it, picking it and drying it out, they do it that way and then place that into all the pickles. So this all goes into your pot. And then
I don't think my pot's big enough.
No, but that's OK. So
it'll cook down.
That's it. And exactly right. You watch once the cabbage and all those things are quite leafy, you'll see that they cook down. So
how long are we going to cook this for at this stage?
This will take roughly about 45 minutes to an hour.
And I guess on a nice cold winter's day, put the lid on it, forget about it, and at the end you'll have a delicious soup. All right, we'll keep an eye on that.
And let's wait till it's ready now.
Fantastic. So, Justine, this beautiful soup has been cooking for about 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah, it has, and everything's nice and tender. And as you've seen before, like when everything was sitting right up very high, it's come down now. It's still sitting at that lovely level. Yep. So what we're going to do now is just going to turn this off very carefully. This is a great job you want someone else to do.
I'm stepping back for this.
So I'm just going to strain this. It's just straight into a colander and then straight into another pot, as you can see, that we've got under there. Right.
This whole place smells like beetroot, and like you say, this reminds you of your childhood, but for me too, because my mum used to cook, you know, the beetroots, and it just wafts the smell of it. It's unbelievable.
Oh, I love it. And you can always walk in, when you're walking in the kitchen, you know Mum's making borscht, you've got that lovely beetroot flavour. So I'm just going to put some gloves on now, was going to take these beetroots out, and not even just so I don't make a mess. That's all it was.
Because they do stain your fingers quite a lot. So why didn't you peel them beforehand? Is this just the way it is?
I like to try and keep the flavour and everything inside the beetroot. So otherwise, I know we're making soup and the flavour and everything leaching out into the stock's good, but I try to keep it whole there, just so the beetroot, when we're grating them as well, it holds that texture of it as well.
You can see that the pork sausages there and the pork there.
And this is quite a funny story. I always go to Mum, I go, why is there sausage in there? Because every time I've eaten, there's never been any sausage in there. And I found out when I was making it with Mum for the first time that it's actually the chef's treat is to get the sausage. So.
Oh, so they put this in the soup, take it away for...
Exactly right. So you never see, so you only didn't actually know it was in there until I made it with my mum.
Well, why not? The chef makes it, they should get the best part.
That's exactly right. All right, so we can remove this. And I might just take that away. And then we'll just put our stock back onto the stove.
Right.
And we're going to grate our beetroots. So, first of all, peel them. So if you want to grab the grater
here. Yeah, I might put some gloves on too because, tell you what, every time I need to do beetroot, I don't have any gloves. I have to do it. And then stain for a couple of days.
That's like you pay for it for days, don't you? So, like as I said, just peel these beetroots, then we'll lightly grate them. And then we're going to return that straight back to our stock base. And look, beetroots, as you know, in soups, anything like that, it's always usually better the next day. Yeah. It just gets so much more flavour through there.
So how much in advance can we actually make this soup?
3 days, no problem at all.
3 days, so the longer the better it is.
My mum would never ever make it for the day, never has. No, so it's always been made 1 to 2 days before.
Great.
Yeah, there you go. So I'll let you grate that. While you're doing that, I'll peel these other ones here.
Justin, those beetroots look so nice and bright, ready to go. Finally grated.
Yeah, thank you very much for grating
them. No worries.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is add this back to our stock now. Okay, and while I'm doing that, if you'd like to take those sausage there, please, for me, and just dice into nice little cubes.
So we are going to add the sausage.
Yeah, so this is all... I don't know how Mum's going to go
controversial.
down with this. That's it. Changing the recipe. But anyway, I think, you know, I would love to have this in my soup, so Mum's been hiding this from me for too long. So
it smells great.
Yeah, it's beautiful Polish sausage. So it's got a nice little bit of pepperiness to it. So while you're dicing that, I'm going to add these baked beans. Now, this is something that shows how people adapted to like Australian cuisine when they first come over. So to get beans, when going back in the 50s, they wouldn't have only got them in this sort of form or tin form. Yeah. So that's how my mum's adapted this recipe from Ukraine to Australia. So these are just normal baked beans.
Baked beans.
In tomato sauce, baked beans. So we just add this to it now. And then again, just tomato sauce, your tin tomato sauce as well. So go back to like Ukraine, they would make their own tomato sauce and make their own beans and preserve them again, like I said, for the winter. And that's why things are quite high in acid.
So it's the acidity that you're trying to get for the soup.
Yeah, that's right. And that helps preserve it. I'll just give it a little season as well.
And this sausage, can we get this from quite a lot of... There's a lot of Polish delis out there, isn't there?
There's, all your markets usually have a Polish deli somewhere, or they sell lots of Polish cured meats. So
I love it.
Yeah, so please just add that in there, it'd be great.
At the colour of the soup is just, it's something that you feel like you want to bring out on celebrations or something, because it's just that really nice purpley colour.
It is, it's so vibrant. So we're just going to let that tick away for a little bit. And then we'll check our seasoning, make sure it's right. Then we're going to serve this beautiful soup, hopefully.
Fantastic.
So that's it.
That looks so good, just the colours. They're just really magical, aren't they? I have to have a taste of this, because the last borscht I had, it wasn't very nice, I must admit.
We haven't a Ukrainian borscht then.
I haven't had a Ukrainian one.
I want a dodgy version.
I want some of that sausage too in there.
So it's our little interpretation today of the soup.
That is so nice. You know what it is? It's that... The only way I can describe it is that sweet, savoury flavours that you get, and it's that the earthiness of that beetroot really comes through on that.
Yeah, it's nice little vinegars from the tomato and stuff that just finishes it off and balances it lovely.
You know what? There's baked beans in there, but it's like it mellows everything out. It's a very cool way to do it. I love that.
Fantastic. I'm glad you enjoy it.
I'm going to have another spoonful of this.
Yeah, please. Does it get better the second time?
Even better.
Awesome.